Hey everyone, and welcome back to Market Mama's channel. Thank you for visiting us here today. For those of you who are visiting us for the first time, we are Kendra and Becky, and we are both day traders from the West Coast. We've been at this for about 3.5 years now, and about a year ago, we decided we needed to create a space. We like to call it our safe space, just to normalize all the psychological hurdles and challenges that we've faced, we've overcome, and we're still going through every day on this very difficult pursuit. And we saw a need for that on the market. So here we are, and super excited to bring another conversation this week. We're going to discuss power pursuit. It's a term that we've used quite a bit in our past episodes, and really just encompasses what we're doing not only here, but in our day trading lives every day.
Yeah, I don't think I really understood it or even thought much about it before I started day trading, but I think that day trading kind of thrust you into this world of like, wait, I can like make how much, and this world is just available, and I could become a millionaire by my own hard work and like learning this thing. This is amazing. So then you start to like think about money and power and position and what you could do with the life that you could make, and it starts to become something that you actually get to think about. And I was thinking about it, and it's really kind of synonymous with like a relentless drive. Like once you get a taste of something that has like incredible potential, you can become like a dog with a bone and just go for it because you can see, 100 steps ahead and the big potential of what this thing can have. And it can be like kind of amazing. And so like power pursuit. So if you think like on a huge scale, it could be like in politics, like the president, or climbing a ladder in an intense corporate job, trying to become a CEO, driven to obtain authority or control over others, that authoritarian type perspective. It's not really where we're coming from, but it's something that kind of falls within this category to put some like scope on it. But it also could, even from the alternative end of that, could mean like trying to escape, like being repressed and escape the control of a dominating force, like within the monarch or a landlord in historical situations. And you decide you want to pursue your kind of own aims and aspirations and break out of a jail per se that you are in, and strive for more, even if it's not like becoming a millionaire trader, even if it's just like having an independent space of your own. So it really is like a broad topic that can cover all kinds of things. So for us, we're going to kind of like narrow it down a little bit.
Yeah, I love that aspect of it so much because it is a little counterculture. It's a little rebellious, and it's really about freedom, right? You're pursuing, freedom so you can live your life on your own terms, so you can have your freedom of time, and not have a boss like over your back, not doing the same shit everyone else is doing. I mean, that's kind of what we're about. Like that's our jam, and day trading really kind of like just threw us in that world because we instantly became a very small percentage of the world. So we're really excited to talk more about this, and just being on roads that are, less traveled, leadership roles, like, for example, with this podcast, sharing yourself, those are just, they do require a lot of boldness and a lot of bravery when you're just trying to achieve, trying to get to higher levels for yourself, and you're overcoming, previous states of maybe, stagnation or complacency. You're just always striving for personal excellence, rather than accepting mediocrity. I've always liked to say, I'd rather be a sloppy success than a master of mediocrity. And I think that's something when you're on a power pursuit, you have to embrace, because it will be very sloppy for a very long time.
Yes, I love that so much. I like reuse that phrase like multiple times because it's not, becoming a day trader is not like a real linear process. It's like a hot mess for a bit. You learn the most through failure, which was also discussed significantly. But that's, I think, the crux of what pursuing real greatness actually really looks like, which is not oftentimes discussed quite as much as we would have liked to understood better in the beginning, because you do have that sloppy, messy middle chunk of time there that really is required. And it's kind of like stretching, like a rubber band. You have to stretch beyond a normal resistance, and that can build power. It can show you what actually is beyond your normal. Every time you stretch, what you're capable of knowing and accomplishing, then you kind of move the dial a little bit farther for the realm of possibilities for your specific life. And so, like, it breaks the pattern of limiting beliefs because you thought this is where you had to live. And instead, there's actually this whole other world that you can tap into and start to figure out and push into if you want. I mean, it's really pretty incredible. And with trading, I mean, there's a lot of ways you can look at that. I mean, every time you hold a trade longer than you previously would have before, you know, as day traders, maybe you're only comfortable holding for 5 to 10 minutes because you get so nervous that once you get in profit, it's going to come back on you and you're going to lose. But instead, as you mature and you kind of push the boundaries, you're like, dude, I could take, you know, a 45-minute mood and make 3 times the profit. You know, you start stretching and seeing what's out there. Sometimes it's, you know, when you see an A+ setup in the first thing in the start of your session, instead of going in with 1 contract, you go in with 2 or 3, and you start to compound your leverage and get higher, faster results. You can see the potential in real life in your accounts. And that action that you take within your trading, that adjusts your psyche and it shows you the greater potential that you are capable of growing into when you start making the choices in your day-to-day life and your realm that show you the real life outcomes.
Right. I mean, that's just also very empowering, you know, to just keep continuing to push yourself like past, okay, I was comfortable here and now I need to step up to something else. And I knew like that view was nice, but I have more to see. And I think that keep adding on, you know, deeper, harder goals as you meet earlier ones. I mean, that is just really like the ceaselessness of all this and just never being satisfied, always seeking out a new challenge, and then seeing evidence of your growing strengths and abilities. You know, that's really how you can capitalize on the opportunities and just seek out and find more of them. It's like there's always a new peak to reach and then another valley to then conquer. You know, we found the value in that. And we're driven to continue to pursue it. But we also have learned to embrace that factor of suffering and extreme challenges, because it is the required force. I mean, if you're hitting your goals like literally on the first attempt, like your goals aren't big enough, like they're just not, because when you're really striving for really hard things and to just make really big impact and changes, like it's not going to be an easy ride. You are going to have things that do seem fairly impossible, and you have to break it down and you have to fall and stumble and fail and then just keep reworking it and keep recharting your course. And that's really, you know, the pressure of all that, it really is a privilege. And that type of mentality, it's hard to uphold constantly, of course, because we're human and we always have just like the journey, our mindset has, you know, peaks and valleys too. But, you know, we always get back aligned with the goals and, you know, things I like to say, you know, things are always working out. We might not know how or, you know, why the setbacks come. The times when they do, it's always the most inconvenient when we're on a high. But just everything's temporary. Everything's temporary. And day trading has taught us that, like literally, like you could have 1 month where you feel like you absolutely suck and you're like losing confidence, you're bleeding out, you're low. And then you can have another month where it's like, okay, like you're getting all the confirmation, like I'm on the right path, like my skill set is boss, like my trading plans are amazing, my executions are getting better. And so it's just, you know, working through all of that. It's a lot and we've called it a roller coaster before. And anyone who's really on their own power pursuit, they understand that. And that's why we wanted to talk about it with you all today, because we know that there's people out there who are working really hard towards their goals, and not every day is pretty and nice, but you know that resistance is required, you know, to grow. Just like when we're working out, right? Just like when we're strength training, like we got to break down those muscles so they can, you know, grow back stronger.
Yeah, all those analogies like fit so well with trading and, like you said, any power pursuit. And I love the part you said about resistance, because when you're really pushing boundaries, there's no way through it but to encounter resistance, because as you strive for higher and higher goals, there's going to be the pushback that knocks people off the game. You know, you start at the lower part of a mountain and everyone thinks you're going to reach the top, people start quitting. It gets actually really hard the higher you climb, and the higher the struggle, the more impact it takes to your life, the more pushback you're receiving in whatever genre you are in. Those experiences will make a lot of people just call it, just say they're content at lower levels and that's enough. I can't climb any higher. The air up there is getting thin. And there's really, if you can keep pushing past the resistance, maybe take a little break, reboot, look at it another way, keep your momentum going in some variety, it's going to thin out. And there's really only room at the top for the elite of the pack. And that seems like a good place to get, like it's going to be thinner. It's going to be lonely at the top, because then you can become uncommon amongst the uncommon. So the people that would even consider this stupid ass super high climb. So of those people, you're surpassing the ones that called it. And so that's some pretty like badassery, sticking with the Goggins theme. Like that's where you encounter the significant rewards that are game changing for your life, is by becoming uncommon in the elite section. And so, some will ill perceive this because you're going to be a reflection of their unwillingness to push themselves for more, of calling it quits at the first really hard pivot point. And it becomes harder. Your life amongst that group will be harder. It's hard to engage in small talk and gossip about others because you're too consumed in designing your own life, and you're pursuing these amazing tops and just, talking about things that you're no longer actively engaged in, but you're thrilled and so focused over here. It's just uncomfortable, and it's not, you don't put your time there as much. And that's sort of a natural part of becoming uncommon. And so you have to kind of factor that in, and there's going to be some mourning with that, because you're giving up a life that maybe you once knew to chase the elitism that you could potentially reach. And so there's going to be some flux for all of us.
Yeah. Oh my God. I totally relate. And we've talked about this before. It's almost like you have to grieve this like part of yourself that you just no longer really relate with or even want to be, for that matter. And it does feel uncomfortable, and it feels almost selfish sometimes, because especially, when you've lived so much long of your life, being this person, and then now you're pushing yourself to be this better and more improved and fuller version, trying to really just max out your potential, your fullest self. And so it is, in a sense, it is selfish. But as I think it was Jermaine, I feel like every episode now we're bringing him up, but he's dropped so many gems where he talked about the guy in Jamaica who told him like, hey, like, it's going to be selfish. Like, you're as you, go on this pursuit, like you have to be selfish for a time. However, in reality, it's really quite the opposite, because once you reach those higher levels of impact, it's promoting a more meaningful and productive life, and it's going to provide just so much more opportunities and advantages. And then you can use those, for charity. You can use those for impact. You could really use those to make a difference. The people around you, whatever your calling is, that's like, it's selfish in while you're building, but what you're going to create, it's no one's ever going to be able to do it like you. And I feel like we're all called for a specific person. And too often in life, we get so distracted with just daily life that we forget there's that part of us that is called to do something like no one else can do, just the way we're called to do it. So it's pretty amazing.
I love that so much, because there is such variety amongst humans, even amongst the ones that really push to high success. And in that way, the variety plays over in terms of how we do choose to impact the world. There's so many, important things in this life that I think could deserve to have more funding and more attention and be improved for humanity's sake or whatnot. And I don't have the funds right now to really make a significant impact. But I know that I'm the type of person that when I achieve those thresholds, there's going to be a huge part of me that's going to want to give back to all the things that are so important to me. So that's the individuality in this. And that's a beautiful part of the fact that more people could and should maybe strive for their best self, because I'm looking forward to the time when I can really kind of give back in the way that I want to. And that plays so well into the truly relentless advancement for many years that you do it could be the actualization of our true potential and cultivation of greater happiness from our own actions and outcomes that we put so much energy into. And in fact, within the gold standard, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, self-actualization is at the top of the pyramid. At that level of success and fulfillment, the individual achieves one's full potential in their pursuits, creative or otherwise, and has become all that that person is possible to become. And this is not even reasonable to consider until one surpasses all the lower levels of the pyramid, including the physiological and safety needs to just survive. And then love and belonging is also a human need above that. And then also esteem needs, including confidence, major achievements, and mutual respect. That esteem level of the pyramid is pretty high up, and a lot of people really find strong success there. They're confident, they have reached the peak in their career, they've achieved a lot, they have mutual respect of all of their coworkers and their family, and that's a great place to achieve as an adult. But tip top above that is the self-actualization section of the Maslow's hierarchy. And that is what we're talking about, is like when you really push your boundaries to a place where you are not sure you ever could achieve before. And that opens up so many potential for humans that you wouldn't even know until you get to those levels. And that's pretty impressive. That being a goal of true power pursuit is pretty interesting. And I love that visual image of it.
I love that too. That's the goal. That's what we're working for constantly. And why we're just accepting the challenges. And, that's a big difference. That is something that I feel not enough attention gets, is that there's always going to be challenges in life. And whether you're actively building for something way bigger and greater than your current environment, or if you're not, I mean, even people who aren't, they're still faced with challenges. And usually they're met with like a negative attitude or like a defeatist mindset. And I feel like the key difference between those and then others who are pursuing power is we're welcoming those challenges. They're already built into the core of how we operate. And you've become a pretty dangerous person when you don't shy away any longer from failure, the struggles of it all and the resistances, because we already know they're sure to come. And rather just bring it on, because we always say our survival rate is 100%. And I like to say that failure is my steps to success. And just, getting back on the horse every day, never just being unrelenting, never giving up. That is how we do this thing. And not perfectly, but making progress all the time.
Yeah. And day trading is our avenue that we are seeking power, because it's something that we sort of kind of stumbled across, but found that we have an affinity for, a love for, and we see the potential for it. And it fits within our life right now. And so whatever your power pursuit might be, day trading or otherwise, if you can find something that really has the potential to take you to levels that you couldn't even dream of before you knew that it existed, that's pretty incredible. And I don't think that everyone even has the chance to consider these types of opportunities. So I feel just gratitude, and like I'm pretty blessed all of the time when I think about this journey that I'm on. And it's something to know that we have the potential in us to pursue levels that are so many levels higher than what we originally thought maybe we could do. So if this speaks to you guys, if you are also on a journey of pursuing power and your highest self, like, that's incredible. We want to hear from you. We want to hear in what realm you are doing it, if you're day trading or otherwise, and how you feel about it, how it's impacted your life with your friends and family, what you once knew and where you know you want to head now, and what you want to do with it. Because it's kind of fun to talk to other people who get it, because not everyone does, and not everyone in our individual like small family circles does either. So we're happy to talk about the uncomfortable stuff sometimes, because like it's a part of it. So we're here. Thank you for being with us. If you want to connect, you leave comments below, or you can always go to our website, www.market-mamas.com. And we're really happy you guys are with us in our community.
Definitely. Everyone, take care. Have a good rest of your day. Our best trading days are ahead. Bye.
Bye.